everybody. Welcome to another episode of Funjelah. This is a special Mother's Day episode. Mother's Day was just a couple days ago, and Danielle and I wanted to sit down and share some gratitude about our moms and motherly figures in our lives. I'm sure all of us out there have some motherly figures that we can think of. Somebody from third grade, a teacher you used to have, an aunt, the lady next door, like whoever, somebody in your life definitely took a motherly figure role, and we honor some of those women on this episode today. So it's a fun one to talk about some mom stuff. And if you want to call us and tell us what you're grateful for, here's the phone number for you to call.
747-300-5380.
Give us your MADtitude and your gratitude. On this episode, our moms join in to give us their MADtitudes and gratitudes, which we loved. And also, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, leave a review, do all the things that you need to do to remind yourself that this podcast comes out every Tuesday. Share the news with all your friends. And don't forget, I'm on tour. Go to Anjelah.com to see when I'm bringing my family reunion tour to a city near you, and get your tickets there and enjoy this episode with me and Danielle giving some motherly love for Mother's Day. Okay, hello everybody. This is our Mother's Day episode, even though technically Mother's Day was 2 days ago.
Correct.
Right, by the time this comes out, Mother's Day was 2 days ago. This is going to be
So
our gratitude for mothers, for our mothers and mother figures in our life, right?
Yes.
Because we have a lot of those.
Every woman is a mother.
And I'm entering the age where I am the mother figure to a lot of people.
Yeah. People think you're my mom all the time.
Oh my God, I hate you. They do though. They do. It's so annoying. For the first time it happened, I was like, that girl's dumb. But then it happened a second time, and I was like, wait, a repeat offender? Hold on. Wait a minute. What the heck is it? Which, what's interesting is we look nothing alike.
No.
But it got me thinking there's been a lot of times where people think that my friend that I'm with a lot are related. Like me and Jill Layton used to get that all the time.
I mean, people think Penelope's your sister all the time, don't they?
But that tracks. We can pass for relation.
Yeah.
But Jill is full on blonde, blue-eyed Jewish.
Oh, sure.
And people would think we were related all the time. But I think it's just because we were always around each other. We started to sound like each other. So maybe it's that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, we both have dark hair, but
that's it.
That's it.
Yeah. You have dark eyes. I have light eyes. Like,
you're white. I'm Mexican.
Well, yeah, there's that.
Yeah. But also my skin color is not that darker than yours. Like, we're pretty, I'm not too dark. See?
Yeah.
And your freckles give you more like tan color.
Yeah. Sun damage.
Yeah. Your sun damage is really working in your favor.
I think my favorite was when the TSA lady thought I was also a minor.
Oh yeah, that's dumb.
And your daughter.
That's
and I was
dumb.
like, even I was like, all right, I know that.
Are you flirting with me, ma'am?
Well, because I was like, look, I know that sometimes I look younger than I am. I was like, but not a child.
No.
I'm 5'8". Like, not even close. Maybe I was short. Maybe.
Yeah, but do you look that young though? Like you're
like
no,
I
mean
be
like
17.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like to be carded, no, but you definitely look young. Like you have great skin.
Oh, thank you.
Like you got it all going for you. You got the youth on your side.
Thanks.
But I don't know about
you know what?
Carded.
And I think that's genetic because I think my mom looks younger than she is.
How old is your mom?
She's 60. She just turned 60.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she totally looks younger than she is.
Yeah.
Well done, Mom.
Thanks, Mom. Speaking of mothers.
Well done.
Thanks.
Yeah. So I'm entering the age of being the mother figure. I mean, look at this.
You do. It is kind of giving coastal grandma a little bit. Like
I'm wearing my little neck scarf, but
kind of Diane Keaton a little bit.
Yeah, it's giving Diane Keaton.
Yeah.
But also the reason why I'm wearing it is because I have a toothpaste stain on my shirt.
Oh my gosh! Wait, I was planning to wear something else and I spilled toothpaste on it this morning.
Yeah, so that's why this little
and what I'm wearing is not what I planned.
Scarf is there.
Yeah.
But listen, there's always room for Selena any day. Sure. Selena t-shirt.
You know, also, do we call her mother? No, because I feel like sometimes people call Beyonce mother.
Oh,
Selena.
No, she is. Yeah, she's still paving the way for us.
Yeah.
There's lots of women in my life that have been motherly figures throughout different seasons. Some consistently mother figures. Some for a season they come in and, like, for instance, when, I don't know if you were like this growing up, but if you had a friend that their mom was very much a motherly figure.
Oh, sure.
But then maybe you're not friends with him anymore. But for that season that you were friends, so-and-so's mom was like your mom. She'd pick you up from school too and like stuff like that. So there's definitely been lots of women.
Or even friends of my mom's that like her best friend for a time, but then maybe they're not friends anymore either. Sure. But it was like, oh, remember? Yeah, I remember her, you know, or whatever.
Yeah. Let's start with our moms out the gate.
Okay.
Obvi. Our moms. Hey, we wouldn't be here without you. Okay, so we could say all kinds of things about our moms. Yeah. I picked just a couple things I wanted to talk about my mom that I am grateful for. My mom. I would always say when I think back on my childhood, I don't remember my mom doing anything wrong. Meaning like,
yeah, what do you mean?
I can't point to, like, for instance, I can point to a lot of trauma with my dad.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
okay.
I'm this because my dad did this, my dad did that, blah, 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 my dad. And then when I think about my mom, I'm like, no, my mom was just great.
Yeah.
She, you know, raised us 4 kids and she did her best. And I remember my mom always looking young. And I was like proud of that. Yeah. Like my mom looked super young and
she's
everybody
hip, she's cool.
She was hip. She was cool. She still is very, like, she'll accessorize a lot. She likes to wear she always wears long nails and has different designs on them. Always does designs on her nails. Like,
fun.
My
mom is the opposite. Same color.
Same.
My mom literally has a picture of the color. She gets it every time she goes in. Same
that's
color.
funny. I don't do that one. Yeah. But it always is like more of a nude kind of whatever. And that's sheer laziness because I'm like, I need to make sure that when it grows out.
Whereas I'm like, give me the brightest color ever.
Yeah. So I remember my mom growing up being super young, looking super young. And one time she took us cruising, like me and my friends, she took us cruising because she got,
what's cruising? Like on a cruise?
What's cruising? Oh man. Okay. So
I was like on a cruise? You went on a cruise?
So cute. No, cruising is where you get in a car, load up all your friends and you go downtown and you just drive. And there's all kinds of other people in their cars and they're just driving. Okay. And then you pull over at the 7-Eleven or you pull over at this drive-through, whatever. And it's kind of like a big party all down the street because there's people sitting out on their windowsill. Sometimes the hatchback would be lifted up with like people sitting on the back. And it's just cruising. It's like the way you would hang out with other young people of the city, and there'd be like motorcycle clubs, and so there's like motorcycles all pulled over.
It does sound like something you would do as a kid, but your mom would take you?
One time she did. And this is because we had a station wagon, or was it during the minivan years? I forget. Either way, she got in like a fender bender. Ooh. The rental car they gave her was a convertible.
Oh, so she was like, hey.
Going from minivan to convertible or even station wagon to convertible.
She was like, we got to show it off. We
did. We were like, Mom, you have to take us cruising. And I remember we did her hair. Like, we tried to make her like look like how we were doing our hair and stuff. Cool. And we loaded up the rental convertible car with me, my sister, and a couple of our friends. And my mom was driving. Oh my God, and she took us cruising. We thought we were so cool. All the way up until one guy in a car across from was like, that's their mom, eh? So she looked young, but not that young, apparently.
But I like to imagine that you were like, yeah, and so what of it?
Yeah.
Okay. She's cool.
We thought we were so cool.
Yeah, my mom never did that. No,
yeah, we thought we were super cool. And what's interesting is I was so proud that my mom was like super young. Rosie's not going to have that experience. Poor thing.
I know. Because how old was your mom when she first had Veronica?
20 or 21.
Oh, so how old was she when she had you?
3 years later.
Okay. Yeah, my mom was 25 when she had me.
Yeah. So Soup's young. Anyway, so my mom, when I think about my mom, I'm grateful that my mom was did the best. Like, I can't think of any kind of trauma related to my mom growing up. And it's funny because it's like mom guilt, but my mom, I would say this to my mom and she would think like, I think the opposite. I just think of all the things I did wrong. I just remember every mistake I made and all the times I messed up and all the times I wish I would have done this for you. I wish I would have done that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, I don't think about that ever. So you don't need to think about it. I don't ever think about you messing up.
Yeah, me either.
So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that my mom was just an incredible mom growing up. But then also, my mom was also the neighborhood mom. Okay. So like all the neighborhood kids would come over to our house.
Okay.
And she was just everybody's mom. Oh. And now, granted, this woman works as a hairstylist, providing for 4 kids and all of their friends. The whole neighborhood would come over and eat whatever was in our kitchen, eat like all of our snacks. And she wasn't ever like, no, we don't have enough. You know, it was just the door was always open.
Come on in. Yeah.
People coming in and out. Everybody knew my mom as mom. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful to look back and think that my mom was the neighborhood mom. And I see these, this is coming up in my feed. I don't know if it comes up in your feed, but it's the neighborhood dad. And it would be like somebody recording. They're like, oh, my husband has become the neighborhood dad. And there's like 7 kids out with a football waiting for this adult man to come out so he can come throw the ball for them. And then it's like this other one. It's like, you know, tell me, why is my boyfriend the neighborhood dad to all these kids? And he's out there like playing basketball with them and stuff. I love that. That's so cool. And I love that. And I love that my mom was the neighborhood mom. Yeah. Yeah. Makes me feel good. So those are a couple things about my mom.
That's so sweet.
Yeah. Grateful for you, Mom. Love you.
Hey. You know, whenever I think of my mom, the first thing that I feel like I've said this to my friends and to other people, what I always think, like, my mom is the kindest woman that I know. Like, just the epitome of the word kind. I was like, if you look it up in the dictionary, that is my mom. I've never known her to yell, like raise her voice. I don't know that I was like, I don't have a single memory of her ever yelling at me or raising my voice. Don't get me wrong, she would get mad at me for stuff all the time, but she did it in a very Southern polite way. Yeah. Like, you know, my mom always had, you know, the look, and she's I get my sarcasm from her, not my dad. My dad's the jokey one.
Interesting. I thought it was from your dad.
No, my dad he can be sarcastic, but not the way my mom can.
Okay.
And she does it in a way where you're like, wait a minute. Did you just hold on a second?
Am I bleeding? What happened?
What happened? But you're like, did I just? Oh, I think I'm dying a little bit. But she truly is so incredibly kind, and I don't know if it's just from years of teaching 4-year-olds. I don't know if that plays a part in it, but I'm like, and she's someone who has like a gift of, I don't know that she knows this, but I think her love language, or at least the way that she shows love, is very much acts of service. And she's very, in any sort of situation, she's always just like, do you need something? Or what's going on? Oh, yeah, I'll get it. Let me grab that for you. Or are you hungry? Let me get this for you, or something. Or, I feel like that's the way that she shows how she cares and loves for somebody. And it's just, I don't know, she's always someone where I'm like, I can always count on her for help in anything, in any situation. And I think she's like that to everyone else too, and to my siblings, and to family and friends and whoever. And it's funny too, because I say that she's the kindest woman, but I was like, that's something she also always taught me. That was like always one of her number one thing was, she was like, in every situation, just be kind. And, you know, even in good and bad situations, or, I don't know, it just always came back to kindness. And so when I think of my mom, I think of that word. And
what's it like not raising your voice? Mom, can you teach me? What's it like not getting a sassy attitude? How do you do that?
Honestly, I think it's because she figured out that doesn't always get you what you want. I think it's she's more the queen
Yeah,
of
but it's
subtlety.
default.
I know.
It's ready to go right there.
It's default for me too, and she raised me. But I was like, that's the Coach Roach that's coming out there when he was the one that would be a little bit louder. But I don't know. I see it too in my grandparents. My mom's parents are my only living grandparents, and I see that in them too. I was like, I've never known
that they're kind and calm.
Yes, I've never known them to raise their voice either too. And I don't know if that's just from my grandfather being a pastor, my grandmother being a librarian. I don't know if that's the personality trait through that or something. But I don't know. I don't know how she does it, because that's not my instinct either. But she's right. I see how she gets through life, and I see different situations, and she's dealt with a lot, and she's had issues with friends or with work or something, and she just, even through all of it, when she's like, oh, I'm so frustrated, I just want this situation to go this way or do something, at the end of the day she's still like, well, hey, it's good to see you, still just she's just always been about, you don't know what's going on in their life, and you don't want them to view you in a way that isn't true to who you are just because of one situation. So
here's the thing. I feel like I can be more patient with strangers than my husband. Like, for instance, if my husband said something like accusatory towards me, I'm real quick to like snap back and be like, blah, 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 whatever. But if some rando in the elevator said something accusatory, I'd take pause and be like,
yes,
I'm sorry?
Yes.
You want to try that again?
You
know what I mean?
I feel like I'm the same way. I feel like I'm quick with my family, and then with other people, I'm like, well, I don't know what's going on in their day. I don't. And I'm like, and I feel like that's my mom. Like I was frustrated with stuff with this hotel, and I was frustrated with, obviously with all these different things, but I'm always just like, let me give them a minute. Let me give them time. Maybe they're sorting something out. Maybe they're figuring there's something going on I don't know about. So let me just, but I feel like with family, I'm like, I called you four times.
Yeah.
Why aren't you? Hello? You said you would be here, or something, but so I'm like, I'll blame my mom for kindness to strangers, but then she'll be like, and where's my kindness? And I'm like, well, you're my mom, so
that's funny how that
deal with it.
Well, we're related, so you don't get kindness.
Yeah. And they're like, isn't this how you treat others? And I go, no, actually. She's like, oh, well, I must be blessed, thank you.
Sorry,
but
Mom.
I also think of, this is gratitudes for her, and I also think back to, my mom is so fun. Like, she's kind of nerdy, but fun. I don't know if nerdy is the right word. I mean, she's a big reader. Like, I get all that from her, but I remember growing up, there was always an activity. There was always a craft.
So
there was always,
I love that.
oh, we're going to go to the park today. We're going to go to the library today.
That's her teacher too, coming out though.
I think so. I think that's who she is at her core.
Yeah.
But even now
I should have your mom send me activities to do with Rosie, because I'd be Googling sometime and I'm like, okay.
Oh, she'll know.
Let me see. Yeah. I mean, I do look Pinterest and TikTok and stuff like that, but I should have your mom send me some activities.
Yeah. Especially when she hits 4 and 5. She's got it on. Oh, yeah. She's got that age range on lock.
Okay.
She's been doing that for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
But she just, she always had activities, or always had crafts, or, we've got ornaments on the Christmas tree that she had us handmade when we were like 3 or 4. But that was like with us.
Love that.
But even, I was going to say, like, even now as adults, like, even when I come home for Christmas or something, she'll, have, I was thinking on Friday we could go and we could do this, and we could go to this little thing, or let's go to this garden or something, or
she's a planner.
Yeah. Well, not really though. That's what's funny, is like, she's more, I would say my mom is more of a type B person, and with like an occasional type A tendencies, just because she's surrounded by type A's.
So she'll think of the ideas and then hand it off to you and let you plan it and execute.
But she's also very much like, whereas I'm someone where I get frustrated if it doesn't go the way I planned it. She's like, oh, well, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, and so like even this summer, it's funny, we're on the family reunion tour, and then now my family was like, what if we did an actual family reunion this summer? And I was like, oh, okay. And we are going to Anna Maria Island this summer for a whole week, and I'm joining for some of the days because of the tour. But my mom was very adamant when she was telling me about it. She was like, no, we don't have anything planned, so don't get upset that we don't have anything planned. And I said, Mom, I'm okay. I'm looking forward to just some days of just sitting on the beach. I'll probably have a little bit of work to do still, but if we just are beach bums, I'm okay with that. And she was like, I don't believe you. She was like, I don't trust you. She was like, we don't have anything planned. We're going to go to Publix, and we're going to, it's an Airbnb, so we're going to make lunches every day. So don't get mad if we don't go to a restaurant. And I was like, it's fine. It's okay. And I was like, but do you have things planned? She was like, we'll figure it out. Like, I don't know. Like, her plan is to have no plan. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
I like that you're like, I'm fine, but do you have plans?
But do you have,
but is there something?
Like every day? Like, are we going to have one nice dinner, or are we going to go into the shops one day? What day is that?
Not your mom knowing you.
Yeah. No. Like, just, she prefaced, and by the way, too, she prefaced the whole thing, and I was like, why are you mad at me from the beginning? Do you not want me to come? I'm so confused. You called me because you were like, can you come? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, but we don't have anything. And I was like, okay, do you not want me there? I'm so confused. No, but it's fine. It's fine.
Well, I'm sure it'll be a great time. A great family reunion. Anything else about your mom before I move on?
She's beautiful.
Yes.
She's very pretty.
Our moms are gorgeous.
They are.
Okay, I wrote a list of motherly figures I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
So I'm going to talk about my Tia Mary, Avi, and my grandma. So my Tia Mary is my grandma's sister. Okay. My grandma.
What side of the family?
My mom. Okay. Now, I rarely talk about my grandma. I think because once my grandma passed away, my Tia Mary stepped in as like honorary grandma.
Because when did your grandma pass away?
When I was like 20.
Okay.
I think when I was 20. Oh, 2001. It was the year of 9/11.
Oh.
So.
What a fun correlation.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Yeah, 20. Yeah, sure.
So, I think Tia Mary, I have my more recent grandmotherly memories. But growing up, my grandma was like bestie, best friend. My favorite memories of my grandma is going into her room. She lived at my Aunt Celia's house, and she had her own little living room and bedroom, her own little section of the house. And in her living room, she would have her little rocking chair that would be pushed up super close to the TV. And she would watch all her stories, all the Mexican game shows.
Yes, we love stories.
And I remember walking into her room, and she would always be sitting up in the chair watching her show. Every now and then she'd be relaxed, just rocking in the rocking chair. But then sometimes she'd just be sitting up watching her TV and always watching her Spanish shows. And there was one time, and I'm young at this point, and I remember coming in and seeing like one of the like game shows or whatever, and I remember my grandma telling me, I can see you doing something like this one day. And I think she meant just seeing me on TV, which she was right, bless her. And she used to love reading, and she had her magnifying glass that she would read her books.
Mine had one too.
Yeah. And
was it the rectangle one?
No, it was a little circle, the stick, metal, silver. And she would be in her bedroom, laying on her bed, on her stomach, with her little magnifying glass, reading her books. And I used to come in, and I would lay next to her on her bed. And I remember I would pinch the skin on her hand because it had no elasticity.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So it would just like stay in place.
I know what you mean.
I would always just like pinch the skin on her hand and just lay with her. And I would hold her hands and just be with her. And those are some of my fondest memories of my grandma, is just going into her room when she was having her quiet time
Mm-hmm.
and just laying on the bed with her and like touching her skin and just being there with her. She was really like my best friend. When I was in college, I did junior college for a little while. I would every lunch break drive home to my Aunt Celia's house where my grandma was, and my grandma would make me lunch, and I would just have lunch with my grandma, and then I would drive all the way back to my school, which was like a good 15-20 minute drive.
Yeah.
And I would have lunch with her. If she didn't make lunch, then she would like hand me $1 and say for a cheeseburger or get a soda or something.
Yeah.
But I used to always just come home and be with grandma and sit with her, and I loved her. She was just, when she died, it broke me to I'd never felt a heartbreak like that before. I didn't know this pain. It was awful. That was the first time I ever experienced any kind of heartbreak like that. And then when she passed on, Thea Mary stepped in as honorary grandma. And the funny thing about Thea Mary is Thea Mary never had any kids. She was just motherly to everybody. She has like 70 or 80 godkids.
Wow.
I thought I had a lot. I have like 7. She has like 70 or 80.
Like official?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like she's godmother to so many people. So she never had kids. But she was very motherly. And my grandma used to take me to her house when I was a little kid, and I loved her house, and it was so like big and magical to me. Now, if you were to go there, it's just a regular house. But when I was young, I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many like nooks and crannies, all these hidden places. And I loved her house, and I would call it my house. And I would say, I want to go to my house. And that meant I want to go to Thea Mary's house. So since I was a little kid, all the way up until she passed away, that was my nickname. She would call me my house. When I would call, she'd say, oh, hi, my house. My house is on the phone, because I wanted to always go to her house. I called it my house. Anyway, Thea Mary was an honorary grandmother, very motherly. She would give me advice. Her marriage advice was, mija, they say marriage is 50-50, but that's a lie. It's 70-30. We do most of the work. That was her marriage advice. She would always ask me about work, and she would say, are they paying you? And I go, yes, they're paying me. She go, okay, you make sure you get paid. She was very much, she was very much part of the union when she was working. Yeah. She was all about our rights and make sure that, nope, this is our right. You make sure you get paid. You blah, 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 blah. She was very into that. So yeah, Thea Mary and my grandma, I have such fond memories of both of them. And I have been missing Thea Mary a lot lately. I think about like sometimes when I'm with Rosie, I just want to call Thea Mary and check in, like how I used to. Just want to call her and check in. And if my grandma was alive, it'd be my grandma.
Yeah.
But my grandma passed before I became in the age of like an adult checking back in about my life. Like that was Thea Mary. So I think about, oh, I wish I could call Thea Mary and check in right now and just tell her about my life, tell her about Rosie, tell her what we're up to. She would love it. Show her all these pictures of Rosie. Oh my God, she would love it. But if my grandma was alive, she would too. Yeah. Oh my God. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah. So those are my ladies.
Yeah.
Oh, last thing is Rosie's name honors all 3 of them.
Oh, yes.
So Rosie's name is Rosalie Harlow Reyes. Rosalie is my mom's middle name. So it's honoring my mom. My grandma came up with Rosalie because she was a big fan of Gypsy Rose Lee. And so she said, I'm going to name her Rosalie. And then for short, we call her Rosie. And Thea Mary was a Rosie the Riveter. Yeah. So that's my way of honoring my 3 ladies.
I love that.
Thank you.
I love that. Yeah. My grandmother, my Mimi, Helen, she's still here with us. So
That's your mom's side.
That's my mom's side. Yeah. And I love her so much. And I'm so excited. I'm staying in her Airbnb, like their home this summer for the family reunion. I'm sharing my cousin has a bunch of places down there, but I'm sharing the house with my grandparents. So I'm so excited I only ever get to see her maybe once a year around Christmas, And even then over Christmas, it's just like a day or two. So I'm really excited to have like a whole week just to hang out with her and my grandfather.
And live in the same space as them. That's different. So you get to wake up and see them. You get to go to bed and see them. That's different.
Yeah. So I'm excited to have this extra time with them. So I'm really, really grateful that I get to do that. And just, I don't know when I'll get more time like that with them. So I'm really excited for that. Yeah. And I just want to talk to her more about, I want to get her to, I remember she used to make me pimento cheese all the time. And so I kind of want to like, do you remember, she doesn't always remember everything anymore. And so I want to be like, do you remember the recipe? Like I want to get recipes from her. And, but I just have so many, we would go, I grew up in the same neighborhood as her. Like they still live in the same house that my mom grew up in.
Cute. And
we would go to Mimi's house all the time. She was our babysitter, growing up. And actually her neighbor, Georgia, was our babysitter. We would go to her house a lot too.
How old is your grandma?
She is 81.
Oh my God, so young. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. No. I'm sorry. Wait, hold on. I'm 34. So my grandfather is 50 years older than me. So that's 84. So she's 85. She's 85.
Okay. Still.
She's a year older than my grandfather.
So young.
Yes.
My father-in-law is 80. So
yeah. So they're young. And so I'm really excited. And I love them so much. And I'm just excited to spend so much time with them and get extra time with them. But I really want to talk about my Mimi Jo, which is my dad's mom. And they were older because
first of all, record her telling you the recipes.
Oh, yes.
Like just videotape her telling you the recipes.
Yeah.
Even if she's making it for you, right then, videotape her make it.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's the one thing about my other grandmother, my Mimi Jo, is she was always the one behind the camera taking photos. And so every time I look through old photos of us, there's so few.
Yeah.
So, but she died 10 years ago. Yeah, because it was right when I moved to LA. And so I wasn't able to go back for the funeral, which was really a bummer. But it's interesting. I feel like with grandparents or with grief, like it always hits you at different times.
Sure.
So anyway. No,
but now.
But no, I feel like my Mimi Jo, like,
Alex, can you get us a tissue? Alex. Sir, can you get us a tissue, please?
Sir, pay attention. No, that was good. No, my Mimi Jo, I get told that I look like her all the time. Oh. Like, I get told that I'm like,
thank you, sir.
Thank you. Her again, kind of. And like I look at old pictures of her, like I look at old photos of her, and I see so much of me there. And I think that's why we had like she was always my favorite. Like I remember her hugs were my favorite. She was 5'11".
First of all, this saying a lot coming from you.
I know I'm not a hug person. Maybe I stopped being a hug person when
she took
it. But she's 5'11". She was a tall lady. 5'10", 5'11", somewhere around there.
Sure.
And bigger, broad. She was a broad woman.
Yeah.
When in her older age.
Yeah.
Younger, she looked more like me. But yeah, she would call them, bear hugs. And she always had this phrase. She would always, for me and my siblings, she would always say, I love you. We would say, I love you back. And she would be like, I love you more. And we would say, I love you more. And then we would say, we love you to space. Or she would say, and I love you to space. And we would go space, and space never ends, which is what my tattoo is.
So cute.
And my sister has the same one. And that was just, we would just go back and forth with that. But I remember growing up, so she was always like so cool to me. Like she was, married and had kids, but was so independent. So my dad grew up in Chattanooga, and that's where I always knew my Mimi Jo was living in Chattanooga. But she was born in Bonham, Texas, which is this really small country town north of Dallas. And after she graduated high school, she moved to Dallas and she like had her own apartment.
Cutie.
And, you know, this was in the like 40s, like the early 40s. And or 50s, 40s, 50s. And she was so there's a building in Dallas. It's, everyone knows it as the Pegasus building because there's this, Pegasus that's on the top of the building. And I don't know what's actually in there or what it was used for. But my grandmother worked in that building as an elevator operator, and she was the first female elevator operator in that building. That was her job when she lived in downtown Dallas, and she just like was this like city girl.
Cutie.
And then got married and they moved to Chattanooga. And that's where my dad was born and everybody, and that's where I knew her as Mimi Jo. Her name is Jo. Well, her name is I'm a Jo. I'm a Jo Harden.
I'm a Jo?
I'm a Jo. Uh-huh.
Wow, I've never heard that name.
Yeah. So, but everybody called her Jo.
Cutie.
And everyone knew her as Mama Jo. She was Mama Jo to everybody. She was the neighborhood mom.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone would come to her house and everyone in the neighborhood. And she had several different jobs throughout her life and worked at schools. Her last job was she was a carpet saleswoman.
Come on,
that was fun.
Mimi Jo.
And but everybody, she was Mama Jo to so many people. I had all these aunts and uncles growing up that were not my aunts and uncles.
Yeah,
because they're coming to Mama Jo's house, and it was always so. I remember going to her house. Everyone was there always. The house was never empty. It was always so packed. It was always so lively.
Love that.
It was so fun, and she had this staircase that went down to the basement, and my siblings and I would get on blankets and we would slide down the staircase. And it was the place to be. She had a pool. We'd have pool parties. Yeah, we had pool parties, and she was constantly, the kitchen was always stocked. She was always someone where if you were struggling or you needed anything, you go to Mama Jo. She'll take care of you. She'll help you. And, I can't.
How old was she when she passed?
I think she was in her 80s. She struggled with a lot of health issues and had dementia at the end and was in a home. And, but she was still, I remember even in the home, like she would call me all the time. We would talk on the phone. I still have her phone number saved in my phone. And, because I remember we talked like right when I moved to LA, and she was like so happy and so proud because she was like, she moved to the big city. So she was like, you're moving to the big city. And, she would also always be like, you got a boyfriend yet? And I was like, no, not yet. And she'd be like, you're fine. You don't need one. And I remember too, there was one summer we were at her house. We would go to her house every Christmas and every summer. And I just finished, I think it was sixth grade that I just finished. So I was, how old are you in sixth grade? Like 12?
I think so.
Yeah, 12. And I remember we went to a water park and I broke my arm at the water park.
Oh my God.
I fell.
Oh my God.
And at the time, it was the third time I'd broken my arm. And I remember I was so upset. Not that I broke my arm, but I was so upset because it ruined the rest of my summer plans. Naturally.
She has plans.
Naturally.
See?
I was going to camp later. I couldn't go swimming because of the way I broke it. I had to have the cast up to the elbow so it couldn't get wet. So like I just was like, my summer is ruined, because when you're 12, summer is everything.
Yeah.
And I remember she just like the rest of the time that we were at her house just fully just pampered me. I stayed on the couch. She just would hold me because I was upset and like,
cute.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just, it's weird because there's like days where you don't even think about her at all.
100.
And then you have days where you're just like shoots. And I remember when all those fires were happening in LA and everyone was talking about, what would you grab if it was you? And I remember thinking the first thing that popped in my head is I have these framed photos, these 3 photos of my grandmother in her Dallas apartment. And there's one where she is just like dancing and she's like like doing like this little thing. And there's one like in front of her car, and this other one where she's just, you know, in her apartment. And she's got this big smile. Looks like she's laughing.
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking that's all I want to grab. I didn't even think passport, nothing.
Yeah.
I just was like, I would grab the photos of my grandmother and I would get out of the house and I would leave everything else. Nothing else mattered. And
I don't even know where my passport is right now. Just hearing you say that, I'm like, I wonder where that is.
It's in my desk. I know exactly where my desk is. But
Wow.
yeah, so that's and that's the only thing I have of my grandmother, for reasons. And and my mom has framed, my grandmother wrote down 2 of her most famous recipes, and my mom has the handwritten recipe framed in the kitchen, which I think is really sweet for her dressing and her potato salad.
Cute.
So, and they're the recipes that are like, and brown it up real good. And you're like, okay, I don't know what that means, but I'll do my best. My mom's been trying to, and that's the thing too, is like she was such a mom to my mom. Like even though my mom has great parents who are still here, she was such a mom to my mom. And
did she pass first and then your grandpa?
No, my grandfather passed when I was like 16.
Okay.
And then she passed when I was 25.
Okay.
Yeah. And I wasn't very close to my grandfather at all, really. It was always her. Like even when he was still there, it was always her.
Yeah.
So
that's really special. Grandmas, man.
Yeah.
What's interesting is that your relationship was with not that your mom grandma relationship isn't special, but this one is with your dad's mom, because the stereotype, and I've seen a few of them like on Instagram and stuff, is that you're closer to your mom's side of the family, not your dad's side,
which I am in every other sense of the word.
Yeah. So that's like the meme that I saw. My sister had sent it to me because she has a boy, and it was something like, when you realize you're the dad's side of the family.
Yes, my brother's like, the only one married. Ugh. So I'm like, oh my god, he's probably gonna have kids first. We're the dad's side of the family.
Yeah, you're the dad's side of the family. Because I was definitely closer to my mom's mom than my dad's mom. I started to get closer to my dad's mom as I got older and appreciate her more. Growing up, she was like the strict grandma, tough love, where my mom's mom was more nurturing. And but as I got older, I started to realize how silly my dad's mom was. And she was funny, and her laugh. And there was just so many things about her that now, and then I look at a side-by-side picture of me and her, and we have like the same cheekbones. And I'm like, oh, wait, I kind of look like I'm like, and she was silly and funny. I never knew those things about her growing up. She was just kind of scary to me growing up. But then as I got older, I was like, oh man, I wish I took more time to appreciate and get to know you as a person, not just grandma. Because I think I really would have liked you. Yeah. There was one time I did a meditation. This is before Rosie. This is, I think, 2020, actually. And I was doing this meditation out in my backyard. And it was a motherly meditation. And in this meditation, they walk you through, like, to visualize certain things. And it was, you go to this well. And as you sit to the well, a woman walks up to you, and it's very vague, and your mind and heart and spirit places whoever it is there. And they're like, a woman from your past walks up to you, and you're sitting there at the well and you're having a conversation with them. What do they want to tell you? What are they saying to you? And this one time I did the meditation, it was my grandma, and I saw my grandma. I fully see her in this meditation. And then right at this moment where she's like, we're holding hands and we're like looking at each other, and they're like, what does she have to say to you? I saw my grandma's face get so happy and excited, like she was about to say something. She's like, and then it went away. Everything went away. And I was like, oh my gosh, what was she gonna say? What was it? But I knew, I felt it. She was gonna tell me that I was gonna have a kid.
Ooh,
I felt that, because as soon as it went away, I knew it. I was like, I think that's what she was about to say. I think that's why she
Ooh.
got super excited.
Okay.
My grandma had 8 kids herself.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's what she was about to say. This was 2020.
Oh man.
And I had Rosie in 2023.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember that meditation and it being so special and just seeing my grandma and seeing her happy. And then that moment where I'm like, oh, I know what you were going to say. I feel it. Grandmas are special. Okay, so I have
mother figures.
some other motherly figures in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Some spiritual mom figures. So growing up, there was Mama Ange. And
I know Mama Ange.
You know Mama Ange. Oh, yeah, because you see her at all the
Yes.
shows that she comes to in the Bay Area. She always
She's
brings us ceviche.
She's wonderful.
So Mama Ange is like a spiritual mom that we grew up with since youth group. And she's just that mom to everybody.
Yeah.
But she was always praying for us.
Mm-hmm.
And if you ever need to pray, she'll still text me out of the blue one day. I had a dream about you, blah, 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 you know. So I couldn't not mention Mama Ange.
Oh.
And then today, this is a newer person to my life, Della.
Yes, Della.
Della's very special, who also has that spiritual mom presence to a lot of people in Hollywood. And they basically will come and like support dreamers in Hollywood, and she's always praying for me. And now even my family, they have her number now, so if there's something going on, everybody texts Della to pray for us and stuff. But I remember when I was pregnant with Rosie, anytime I would freak out where like I didn't feel Rosie moving, and I start thinking, I haven't felt her move for a long time. Oh my gosh. I'm texting Della at like 3 a.m. and I'm like, I can't feel Rosie move. I don't remember the last time I felt her move. And then she's like texting me back and, you know, texting me prayers and stuff and like helping me like just calm down. And anytime I'm about to go on a trip or I'm anxious about something, I always send Della a text and I'm like, hey, this is what I'm feeling. And she's always, we're on it. We're praying for you. And just very, very much a motherly figure in a spiritual sense. Yeah. For us, for now my whole family.
Yeah, she's the best. We got coffee before the bus tour started and ended up sitting and talking for like 4 hours.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, she's great.
She's so great.
So those are a couple of spiritual mom figures. And also my sister was a motherly figure growing up because she's the oldest and mom would be at work, so she was in charge. So Veronica was definitely a motherly figure, more so to like my brothers because they're younger. My sister's only 3 years older than me, but she was still in charge, you know. So my sister, she's still caretaker of the family. She's still the one who puts together the Evite for Christmas for the whole family. She's still the one who's like helping plan everybody's birthday. And she's still very hands-on as the family planner, family organizer, very much the leader and motherly figure in that sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. I think a motherly figure in my life is my mom's best friend, Day. She lives in Carlsbad, San Diego area, and I don't have any family in LA. It's just me, and I'm very much comforted knowing that she's down there. Aww. And we don't talk all the time. A lot of times I only text her because I go, hey, my mom's in town. We're coming by. Like every time my mom visits, we drive down there. Cute. But
it's nice knowing she's there.
It's nice to know that she's there, and she's someone who... She's also a motherly figure to a lot of other people. And so she's someone where I'm like, I know if there's anything wrong, anything, I can call her and like, she'll help me with whatever. And I always think about that too. I'm like, if I'm ever like in the hospital or something, I was like, I'm calling her first because I know she could get to me the quickest and make me feel like I've got family with me. Yeah. And so until because I know my parents would fly out. So I was like, I'll get her first and then she'll stay with me until
tag team,
exactly. So I think she's definitely somebody who I consider family and stand-in mom or spiritual mom is what you said. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Della for sure. I just want to, double down on Della.
Yeah.
That sounds weird, but you know what I mean? Because just, again, like I said, I'm not by myself in LA, but there's no family. So it's a different dynamic.
It is different.
But yeah, I think those have kind of always been my, at least as lately, my go-tos. And then I have my actual blood relation aunts too, who are always, my Aunt Michelle, I feel like I've always was really drawn and close to her, not just because of growing up in the same town. Like all my moms, I talked, so much about my dad's mom being in Chattanooga, but all my mom's family is in the town that I grew up in. So they're all there. When I go home, I see
that's nice.
All my aunts and uncles and my cousins on my mom's side of the family. But my Aunt Michelle, the age difference between me and her is almost the same age difference between her and my mom.
Oh.
Yeah, I think her and my mom are, 11 years, and her and me are only 13 years age difference.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I've always just been more close to her, just simply because ages is almost similar. And she, I want to get married and have kids, and she didn't do that until she was 38. And she went and lived her life and had this career and all this stuff. And so I often look to that, where if I am ever feeling like I'm behind, I go to her. Yeah. And she's like, you're fine.
Yeah.
She's like, I did it. You're fine. You'll figure it out. Yeah.
Totally.
And so and she's someone I know I can call and talk to about anything. And and I love her.
Another person I wrote down on my list that I wanted to mention, which you don't have one of these yet, but you will. Okay. And I hope you have a great relationship, because I'm talking about my mother-in-law.
Oh, okay.
And there's a stereotype of
absolutely,
people hating their mother-in-laws.
Yeah.
I do not. My mother-in-law is fantastic.
I know.
And we used to joke that she loves me more than she loves my husband. But it's definitely not true. But I think because she had 2 boys, and I come into this family, and not only am I a girl, so I have a different energy, but I'm also very affectionate, and I'm huggy. I like to go deep and converse. So immediately I just was all in, and I think she enjoyed that. And so I would sit with her and have coffee and gossip, just listen to her stories. Yes. And, she'd tell me about all his ex-girlfriends and give me all the inside scoop. She would give me drama about people I don't even know, but it's just somebody that they know, and I'm just in it yep, no, I wouldn't do that. No. And we have our own special memories. One of my favorite things that I would do is do the Snapchat filters on her face.
Hilarious.
What? And on Instagram when they do the funny face ones. Oh my, and her reaction to them. And I would post them, and people would crack up dying. I would get so many responses from people just doing all the different faces. And then me and Carmen cracking up together, just loving it and loving each other. And I'll sit with Carmen just like I would with my grandma and my tia Mary. And I'll hold her hand, and I'm doing massage to her. I would always massage tia Mary all the time. And, or I'm rubbing her back or something. I'm very affectionate. And I love my mother-in-law, and she's another one. I love just sitting. Every time she comes over, my favorite thing is, get a cafecito. And she's like, no, I just had. When she says, no, I just had it, I'm sad. Oh, because I want to make her coffee and have, even if I'm not sitting with her to drink the coffee, just knowing that what the coffee means. Oh, absolutely. And so anytime when she's like, see, okay, I'm like, all right, good. I like making her the coffee and bringing it to her, and sometimes we'll sit and have together. And even if it's just a little bit of gossip, just a little bit of, oh, did you talk to so-and-so today? Like, no, she haven't called me. It's like one of those like,
tell me more. Yeah.
When's the last time she called you? No sé. So I enjoy my mother-in-law. I have a great relationship with her.
Yeah.
It's very special. I definitely don't have the stereotypical. Oh, and that's funny because I used to include this in my jokes in this hour that I'm doing, and I took it out because it was coming off mean. And that's not how I meant it with her. And I was kind of leaning into the stereotype.
Sure.
Because I knew that's what the audience was thinking.
Sure.
But then I was like, but that's not who she is. And that's not what we have. So I just took it out. But the joke that I would say, let me see if I can remember it.
I know. I was like, I'm trying to remember what it was.
It was.
'Cause I think I know it.
What? It was something about. When they first came to meet the baby.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes. Yes.
And
I know what you're talking about.
I'm holding Rosie.
Yes. You look like.
And she goes, Anjelah, you look like a mom now. And I was like, oh,
yes,
thank you.
Yes.
And she goes, yeah, because you used to be slender. And like she wasn't meaning it to be mean.
No.
But that's just her honest little Puerto Rican self. Just like, you used to be slender. Now look at you. And I'm like, oh my God. And the house we're living in now, and the one in LA, is a lot smaller and different than the house we used to live in.
Oh, yes, I know. Yeah.
And so we have a pool in the backyard. It's a smaller pool than the one we had when we lived up in the hills, obviously.
Sure, but it's still a pool.
Yeah. And when they first came to the house, she was looking out with my brother to the backyard, looking at the pool. And she goes, oh, wow, that's a nice pool. It's not that big, but it's nice.
She's like, would you get a kiddie pool?
Yeah. It's not that big, but it's nice.
I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, Carmen. Did you want to design the pool?
And again, like, she wasn't being mean.
No,
she was just
I
being
know.
herself that I laugh at.
Okay, see, and here's the thing too that I feel like I've noticed with my grandmother Helen, who's still here, is I feel like the older grandmas get, the less of the filter.
Oh, yes.
It just is gone. Because
yeah.
there's been times where she said stuff around me and my sister, and I'm like, Mimi,
Yeah.
what? Okay. Like,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
you're like, what? Not preacher's wife.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
They lose that filter, which I also used to include in my act that I took out in that airplane bit, which I'm not going to get into it, but the story about the woman on the airplane. And I used to go a little bit further about, what did I call it?
Oh, you said it, senior syndrome or something like that.
Spectrum.
Oh, yes. Spectrum.
Yeah, I called it the senior spectrum. And the point of it was, like, you get to an age where you don't have no filter no more. You feel like you've lived long enough. You're earn the right to say whatever you want to say. Like, this is it.
Yes.
And I took that whole thing out. It wasn't hitting the way I wanted it to hit. It was coming off a little bit mean.
Yeah. And I feel like everyone was kind of like, wait, what?
Yeah. Like, they didn't. They're like, wait, who's she making fun of?
No.
And I'm like, I'm not making fun of anybody. I'm just trying to say, like, when you get to a certain age and you just say whatever you want to say. Like, everybody's grandma and grandpa gets to that point. And I'm not talking about dementia or anything like that.
I'm
talking about you get to an age where you just say off the wall stuff and you're like, Grandpa,
well,
you cannot say that.
Yes, at my brother's wedding, it was the rehearsal dinner, and I was sitting next to my grandmother, my Mimi, and I noticed she had this ring on her hand that I'd never seen before. And I was like, Mimi, that ring is really beautiful. I've never seen that before. And she was like, get in line. Oh! And I went, what did you say? And she goes, you're going to have to ask Michelle for it. She goes, first, I've offered it to Terry, but I think she's going to give it to Michelle. So if you want it, you have to ask her, but not until I die. And I was like, Mimi, I was like, I was giving you a compliment. I was just trying to tell you that I thought it was pretty. And she was like, well, you can't have it yet. And I was like, I was like, let me get you an iced tea. I'll be right back.
That's awesome. Well, we have some voicemail messages.
Yes.
To listen to. These are very special ones that we have today, because these messages are from our mothers. We had our mothers call in, and We just said, give us a attitude and a gratitude. So our moms are going to share for the first time on Funjelah, telling us what they're grateful for. And if you want to call in and tell us what you're grateful for, what you're mad about, give us your attitude, you can call us at, is the phone number ready to go? Okay, you can call us at this phone number.
747-300-5380. Give us a call. Ooh, yeah.
Give us a call. Let us know your attitude and your gratitude. And who do we have first?
Do you want your mom or my mom?
Let's do your mom's first.
Okay.
Hello, Anjelah. This is Terry, Danielle's mom, calling from Texas. And so I am calling to give you my attitude and my gratitude. My attitude at the moment is when I go to like the Kroger or the Costco, mainly the Costco, and people do not know how to walk down the aisle with their buggies. Just like
Not the
driving
buggies.
a car, you go
From
on
Texas.
the right side of the aisle. And if they don't do that, they stop in the middle of the aisle and they're looking at something and it just backs up the whole aisle.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that makes me a little grumpy and a little mad. I have been known
You are your mother's daughter.
The teacher in me
100%.
has come out, and I've clapped my hands and I have given instructions on how to walk down the aisles at Costco, to the point that I think now that when I scan my card into Costco, I'm probably up on some kind of poster where they're like, she's back at the store again. So anyway, so that's my attitude.
That's
People
funny.
who don't know how to walk down the aisle with their buggy when they're grocery shopping, specifically the Costco.
Buggy.
As far as my gratitude is, I am so thankful that my adult children are happy in their lives where they are. They have worked very hard for their careers.
Special.
And not everything is unicorns and rainbows. They've had some struggles along the way, but they have persevered. And I am super proud of all of my adult children and how they love their careers. They are doing their best every day. And it just makes this mama heart happy to know that my children are happy and they just strive to be their best every day. So I'm grateful for that, especially this time of the year when we're in the month of May and celebrating Mother's Day. And Anjelah, I'm grateful for you that you have given my daughter Danielle an opportunity to be a part of your team and to be in your circle of influence. And so I'm grateful for that. I hope you girls have a great rest of your tour on your family reunion tour. I pray for you every day for your health and your safety, but just most of all, just have a great time and enjoy it. Time goes by fast, and just need to enjoy these little moments. So, love you girls. Have a great day. Bye.
We love you, Terry, which I just learned was your name recently because I only knew you as mom.
I know. Also, she's so twangy. Like
I know, I loved it.
I always forget. And it's funny because my friends will point out that I become extra twangy if I'm on the phone with her.
Oh,
but I'm like, Mom, you.
Oh,
she's from Texas.
For sure, from Texas. And you are your mother's daughter. Her being upset with systems, that people don't understand systems. This is the way it works. Like, this has been your attitude before.
Oh, and I've heard this attitude many, many a times. Anytime I'm at the Kroger or the Costco with her, and she is just like...
The Kroger.
She just gets like, she's like, I just do not understand. People need to be aware of their surroundings.
Hilarious.
That is her biggest beef in life, is people not aware of their surroundings.
That is you.
Yeah.
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 You are your mother's daughter.
You know, she raised me, so.
We love you, Terry.
Okay, here's your mama.
Hi, my name is Susie Zagar. I am Anjelah's mama. And I just want to share a few gratefuls and a few... what's the other one called?
Big fan of the show. Big fan.
Attitudes. I am grateful for FaceTime. Believe it or not, I just love that I can stay close and in contact with all of my kids and especially my grandbaby. And yeah, so I'm really grateful for FaceTime and I'm grateful for my hubby's health.
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful for my grandkids. I'm grateful for my kids too. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have my grandkids without my kids.
But she's grateful for us
I'm
only
grateful
because of the
for
grandkids.
all of those above. And I'm very grateful for prayer because I don't know where I would be without it. My Maditude is streaming. Streaming.
Oh, streaming.
Paramount, streaming, Netflix, streaming, all those lovely things that I have all over the place. Well, now a lot of them have commercials. Great. Now you're paying for commercials. So now you have to upgrade
You do that
in order not to have commercials. So that's rude. Anyway, I just don't like that. That's really
You say
annoying.
that all the time. That's rude.
And then I'm also Maditude. Another Maditude is weight loss. It takes freaking forever to lose weight. But then after one binge, you gain it all back. So there's my Maditude. And my other little Maditude is, it's a Maditude and it's a cutie-tude. It's when Rosie hangs up on me on FaceTime. So I love
really
FaceTime, but my little cutie-tude Maditude is when Rosie hangs up on me when she's done.
Yep. She'll go,
okay,
bye.
that's it. Thank you. Happy Mother's Day to everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Love you, Mom. Let me tell you one thing about my mom.
There's so many things that she says.
The fact that she
you
said,
say the same thing.
The fact that she made streaming her Maditude clocks because my mom has seen every new show. Any show that comes out,
she's on it.
She's already seen it.
Okay.
The second it comes out, she already binged it. She already watched it. She's already seen it. Which Manny can be like that sometimes. I am not like that.
No.
I'm like, how can I watch all these new shows when I need to watch season 7 of SVU one more time? Like, this is ridiculous.
Which that's my mom. So that always makes me laugh.
So my mom sees every show. If there is a new show that comes out, I always check in with my mom and be like, oh, did you see it? Like, what did you think? Once in a blue moon, I've seen a show before her. And I think that happened recently with Cross on Amazon. Such a good show.
Never even heard of it.
Oh my God, it's so good. So I hit her up one time and I was like, have you seen this one? She's like, oh no, I haven't watched it yet. I was like, oh my God, you gotta watch it. It was like the one time I saw a show before her. So that tracks that streaming commercials is Maditude for her. Our moms are great. We're so grateful for you, moms. We love you. To all the moms out there, well done. You're crushing it. You're doing it. And to those out there who are missing their moms because your mom has already passed on, our heart is with you. And we send you our love and our light and our warmth and all the good feelings. We send them towards you because I know Mother's Day can be really hard for some people. For those of you who are wanting to be a mom and you've been trying to be a mom and it just hasn't happened for you yet, I know Mother's Day is also a hard day for you too. So our hearts are with you as well. And this podcast is all about putting out good vibes, gratitude, love, and just putting it out there. So for all the moms out there, we love you, bless you, and keep crushing it. You're doing it. We love you. Thanks for listening.
Yeah. Love you, Mom.
Bye.